woke up today and decided that I wanted to look and feel fancy. So I pulled out a bunch of Patrick Ta products, including the brand new Patrick Ta eyeshadow palette. And we are going to do a full face of Patrick Ta, creating this beautiful shimmery cat eye and glossy red lip. I love the way that this turned out. I am in love with it. I'm ready to go to like a hospital gala or a charity ball or a red carpet event. So let's dive in and I'll show you how I created it. By the way though, before we get into it, I'm Ashley, and if this is your first time here, well then welcome. If your makeup routine is your favorite ritual, be sure to hit the subscribe button because I am here 3 times a week sharing my beauty habit with you. All right, now let's go. I'm starting out with my base makeup already done. If you're interested in what I have on, be sure to check out the description box. I always list and link everything down there. So foundation is done and I prepped my eyelids with a little bit of translucent powder so that we can begin with this beauty. This is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension eyeshadow palette. I am so excited about this. I've seen so many people use it and it just looks beautiful. This definitely feels like a really great nudes palette and I live for that. This is the kind of palette that can get a lot of use from me if it's really good. So fingers crossed, because everything I have ever tried from Patrick Ta I have really liked. Let's start with this shade right here. This just looks like a nice like light taupe shade. I'm gonna pick it up with a fluffy brush and I'm going to use that as like a transition shade. That blended out beautifully. There is a teensy tiny bit of kick up in the pan, but again, I mean, it's a very small amount. That's pretty much expected that you would have some tiny amount of kick up there. It's not a lot at all. I do just like to mention it because I'm just such a stickler about that. I don't know why. Really like this shade. For me, I always lean my head back. It's the same deal almost every time. I just lean my head back and use the actual bone to create where I want a crease. Since my crease is so deep, I like to just go up a little bit. I really like this shade. It blended so beautifully, and again, it's just perfect for this. Next, let's take a little bit of the one next to it and try to deepen this crease up a teensy bit. And I'm only gonna do that on the outer half of the eye. And then I'm just gonna take my clean, well, it's not clean, but it's the brush I just used and I didn't pick anything else up with it. I'm gonna take that and just use it to blend that in. I just wanna create a little more dimension and depth on the outer half over here. I am already in love. I know we're only 2 colors in, but I think this is a really important point to make. I have pretty delicate features, so a lot of times I like to lay down eyeshadows in very small sections like I just did. Like I just wanna deepen up that tiny little outer part of the crease. I don't want to bring it all the way in. And sometimes if formulas are not well suited to me, what happens is I'll put that little bit down and then when I go to blend it out with a fluffier brush, it never quite blends well. It's like you can always kind of tell where I first put it down. It doesn't quite diffuse completely and uniformly. This did. This diffused perfectly. You cannot see any like lines or anywhere where pigment is sticking. It blended out beautifully. So I feel like this palette, the mattes in this formula are exactly the way that I like to work with mattes. I like them to be able to be laid down and then blended out and still look smooth all the way throughout and get a nice gradient. So you go, Patrick. My fingers are crossed that he's gonna bring it home with this last shade that we're gonna use. We're skipping over to right here. We're gonna use this little pencil brush, lay it down, and then blend it out again with a fluffy brush. And we're just barely gonna go into that outer part of the crease, but we're gonna use an even smaller section. Just wanna elongate the eye and give some definition so that we're kind of really accentuating the upturned kind of almond shape. Do you see what I'm talking? I mean, this, wow, this has been freaking tastic. These mattes are blending. You guys, it is a very rare day that you freaking go, Patrick. Oh my God. I am so happy. You know what? Sometimes I think that I am too picky about makeup. I'm like, are you supposed to expect that a matte can be laid down and then you can blend it out and it's gonna like not be obvious where you first put it down? Sometimes I think, yeah, that's unrealistic of me to think. And then you get a formula like this and you're like, no, it's not unrealistic, because if you're paying for it, you should get it. I'm just so dadgum impressed that this did that. I am so happy. Please let the record show, it's not like some crazy amount of blending went into this. Like, it really did just blend out like a dream. I haven't even gotten to the cream shadows. I don't think I'm going to use them today. I do love the concept and I love what he gave us here. Like, I think those are like two fantastic colors to have as cream shadows. And I don't have either of these shades like as a matte and a cream shadow. So I'm definitely going to use that one day, but today is not that day. I think I'm gonna go with the brighter one. I almost always, if you give me a choice on like glitters, metallics, whatever, I'm almost always gonna go with the brightest and lightest one because I just love that, especially since we're gonna be doing a corally red lip. You'll notice that we're like way blown out over here. Don't worry, we're going to fix that up with concealer. This is why I never do my concealer first when I'm doing like an actual powder eyeshadow look. I'm gonna take a flat eyeshadow brush and try to pick up this shade first. I think this is one you have to pick up with your fingers. I have a thing about shadows that I have to use my fingers for because I feel like my fingers are very clunky. I'll try to use like a finger I have more control over, and then it's like, no, you need to use your pinky finger because that's the smallest one. I don't like the glitter. Dang it. I love the mattes so much. I think that matte formula in here is amazing. So I'm really extremely bummed out that I don't like this glittery formula. It's just like it's sticking everywhere. It's falling everywhere. Are we ever going to get a palette where the mattes and the glitters are of equal quality? That's all I'm asking for. I feel like I get that in like Natasha Denona palettes, but those are crazy expensive. But then again, Hourglass has their, glitter eyeshadows and they are not messy at all. And I love that formula because it's a glitter shadow, but it doesn't fall everywhere. It doesn't like do this thing that we're having here where it's like getting up into the crease and moving around a lot. So I'm a little bit bummed out, you guys. Okay, so like the next one over, I feel like is a better formula for me. That's like a shimmer. It looks much nicer. It's much less messy. And then I'm gonna move over. There's like a coppery shade. Same. The coppery shade doesn't have an issue. This is the darkest shimmer. I guess you just have to like barely pick up any. Like there I barely picked up anything and it doesn't even look like it has pigment. It just looks like glitter. I will say, if you like glitter eyeshadows in palettes, maybe you'll like this. I don't know. The other ones feel fine. It's just this lightest one was like super messy for me to work with. Could be because it's the first time that I'm working with the formula. I'm not going to completely knock it. I'm just going to say that for me right now, I know I love the mattes and I'm still on the fence about the glitters and shimmers. I'm going to go ahead and clean up my under eye with my concealer. I'm going to use a liner, so I'm gonna wait to set my under eye concealer. So this is the Patrick Ta Precision Gel Liner. I actually got 3 of these. I got black, deep bronze, and cream. I think I'm gonna go with the deep bronze. Actually a really nice formula. I have been using the cream one on my lower waterline and I have to say I really like it. I don't often use actual eyeliners to do wings. A lot of times I just use an angled liner brush and an eyeshadow, but as far as eyeliner pencils go, I do tend to like the ones that are gel better because they just don't drag as much, and I hate tugging at my eye and feeling like I'm having to like pull my eye to get them to glide over the skin. So I really like that these do glide over the skin well, and once they set down, they stay. I'm going to take a little bit of that cream eyeliner and put it in the lower waterline. To finish off the eyes, I'm just gonna throw on a little bit of lower lash mascara. I'm not gonna put anything on the lower lash line because I have been liking the more like very bright, soft, nothing going on the under eye. I just feel like it looks super youthful and really fresh for summer. And when I'm putting my lower lash mascara on, I'm pulling the mascara to the side, like towards the outer corner, to just go on with that elongated kind of cat eye shape. Moving on to the cheeks, we have one of my favorite products, period, right now. It is the Cream Contour and Powder Bronzer Duo in She's Statuesque. I love this. It is so rare for a cream contour and bronzer to match me, like for both of those products. Like I have to really search for shades that match me. So to get ones that match like in the same package, a 2-for-1 is fantastic. I'm just using the cream contour shade to contour the hollows of my cheeks, along the hairline of my forehead, and I'm also going to contour my jawline. Now that I'm done contouring, I'm gonna take the powder bronzer and I'm gonna warm up my face a little bit, just using a big fluffy brush. So now that we're done with bronzing, I want to do my lips first before I do my blush because we're going in with a bright lip and I just tend to see what the lip looks like and then do the blush. I find that it's much easier for me to keep everything balanced when I go in that order. I'm going to be using the Patrick Ta lip liner in She's Not From Here. The only thing I don't like about these lip liners is that you have to click them to go up, which means that if you click it up too high, you can't pull it back down. It's the only thing that kind of bothers me. I also am not a huge fan of the angled shape. I don't super love that shape. I don't know, maybe I'm just being biased because I'm so used to lip liners not being this shape. Watched a Lisa Estridge tutorial on like how to make your lips look happy, and I've been using that technique. I will link that video down below because it is so good and it is literally how I have been trying to do my lip liner for a few weeks now. Color me a liar. I actually really like this shape. I found it to go on really well, so I was wrong. I guess what they say is true. Don't knock it till you try it. And for lipstick, we're going to use the Patrick Ta lipstick in She's Not From Here. These lipsticks are very interesting. They have such a velvety look to them. Like when you just look at the bullet, it looks very much like velvet, like the texture of it. Often matte lipsticks, I find they don't actually like look matte in the tube. This one does. Actually went on so much smoother than I was expecting. When I saw the like velvety texture on the outside of this, I mean, honestly, the texture looks like velvet. When I saw that, I thought, oh, this probably is not gonna go on super smooth. It actually really did, and I really like it. This is a really nice orangey coral red, and it looks, I think, even more red because I am wearing red. I am gonna cheat here and use something that's not Patrick Ta because I want a little bit of gloss on top of this. So I am gonna use the Dior Addict Lip Maximizer. This is in the shade Cherry. Just want a glossy red finish. All right, for cheeks, we have the Double Take Cream and Powder Blush from Patrick Ta in the shade Do We Know Her? And this is just a really corally peach shade. Now, this is a really good formula, and it's one of the few that I feel like I can just pick it up with a sponge and use it that way, and that is my favorite way to use it. Done a little bit further than I wanted to, so I'm just gonna kind of fix that up with my foundation brush that I used. I'm not putting anything extra on it, but there's still enough product that I can kind of blend out that little tiny oopsie where I got the blush down a little bit further than I wanted it to go. I'm using the clean side of the sponge now because I just want to diffuse this side a little bit more. Next, I'm gonna set with powder. I'm going to use like a small little brush to just get the places where I want my skin to be like a little bit matted down. down so that I can really balance like the luminous parts of my face with the more matte parts of my face. I don't want every place to be, you know, shiny and glowy. And I'm gonna take just the smallest amount of powder and go over that cream contour just to mute it down a tiny bit. And because we do always have the option, that's a lovely thing about the Patrick Ta duo, his blush duos, is that you do then have the option of taking the powder blush to go over. If you want to deepen out the blush, if you want to set it with the same color, you can kind of do that. I'm gonna take just a touch of the powder and set this blush. I don't really want to deepen it up anymore. I just want to set the color because it is super humid outside and I don't want to like end up not having any blush by the end of the day. Although I will say that when it is this hot and humid outside, I almost don't even need blush because trust me, my entire face is going to be red in like 10 seconds once I'm outside. All right, this is the all over glow balm from Patrick Ta. It has fingerprints all over it because that is the nature of this packaging. It's not that I'm a dirty person. Why would you even accuse me of that? I'm just kidding. You didn't accuse me of anything. We're gonna try this because it says it's for face and body. So I'm gonna pick up like the tiniest, I'm gonna kind of warm up a little bit onto my fingers. It smells really good. And I'm gonna put a little bit on the high point of my cheek. I don't want something that's like pearl on the high points of the cheeks and I'm doing like a glossy lip and I've already got like this glitter on the eye because I don't want to feel like it's like flash, flash, flash everywhere. We gotta balance it out. If you couldn't tell, I am an Enneagram 9. So basically everything in my life is about balance and harmony, except when my one wing is acting up and then everything is about planning and to-do lists and being perfect. It's rough. Gonna put in my earrings. I had a couple of you ask about my earrings and I did end up linking them in the last video I wore them. I got them from Amazon. They are so beautiful. I think they were like $50. I feel like they're worth it because they're really nice and they look really lovely in person. Like they just are beautiful. And they're very interesting because there's like a little clasp here and you push it and then it releases. So they kind of like lock in place. They're also just incredibly unique. I don't own anything else like these. You know that like that feeling like where you find something really unique and you love it and so then you start trying to find other things like it and it's like it's such a contradiction because it's like the reason you like it is because it's unique. All right, you guys, this is the finished look. Thank you, Patrick. I don't know, I guess I need to go find a red carpet somewhere because I feel very fancy schmancy today. This is beautiful. If you'd like to see more one brand videos, I have an entire playlist. Be sure to check it out and let me know in the comments below what full face of would you like to see next. I hope to see you in my next video and until then, you take care of yourself. Bye.